Good evening, everyone. Shane Jenkins here again with another live episode, this time of Chestnut Checkers. And I have my esteemed friend, my brother from the DC Gulag on with me tonight, Ryan Nichols. Man, good to see you, buddy. How you doing, man?
You. I'm doing good. Good to see you again. It's like I just saw you like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I know, man. It has been a whirlwind. Man, it's been a whirlwind like the last couple of months with going to Bart's funeral in Pennsylvania, and then now I came to see one of my buddies who's disabled in Kansas. He's actually the one that told me that the FBI was looking for him. Shout out to Scooter, Chris Fielder, man, good fielder, good guy. I met him actually like 25 years ago playing Call of Duty online, and so
that's cool.
It's the first time I've ever met him. I had to take over his son's room to get close to the router, and this is his son's.
We were just talking about that a few minutes ago.
So, I went to Missouri to a January 6th event. I also went to see Jenny Cutt at the Road Home Project in Fredericksburg. It was actually when all that the hill country was flooding. I was there in Fredericksburg. We were watching the creek right there across the road from there.
I remember y'all saying that, yeah.
So it's been, and then we went to Missouri. Now we're in Kansas, and we're driving. I think we're going to go to Turner Falls tonight.
Turner Falls is nice. You're going to like that. I've been there before.
Yeah. So yeah. I saw you today doing a commercial or just a reel, whatever it was on Facebook. And you are running for the Texas 1st District, right, for Congress?
Yeah, I'm running for the 1st District for U.S. Congress, U.S. House of Representatives here in Texas. And, yeah, man, I came out breathing fire today. And just like everybody else knows, it was over the over the Epstein stuff, and
if I can, Enrique, can you play that Caroline Levitt clip for us so we can kind of bring that up? Yeah, there you go.
According to the report. Okay, so the FBI looks at the circumstances surrounding the death of Jeffrey Epstein. According to the report, this systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. So what happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General said she had on her desk?
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network on Fox News.
Go ahead. John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Yes, she was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to, and I'll let her speak for that. But again, when it comes to the FBI and the Department of Justice, they are more than committed to ensuring that bad people are put behind bars. They have an operation going on right now called Summer Heat, which has our murder rate trending in the lowest direction in United States history. Their emphasis on violent crime and locking up violent criminals has led to the arrest of 14,000 violent criminals. That's a 62% increase from the same time period last year. So this Attorney General and the FBI Director are committed to putting bad people behind bars where they belong. They promised an exhaustive review. That's what they did. For any further details, I would refer you to the Department of Justice.
Appreciate it, Enrique. So she eloquently sidestepped that question, really.
Deflection. The biggest deflection ever. I couldn't even watch it all the way through in the truck a little while ago.
I appreciate them getting crime down, and I do think they're doing a good job doing that. But that's not, obviously we want that in America. We need that in America. I know you want that in your district that you're running for. And again, Ryan Nichols with me, my DC Gulag brother. But so what in the hell is going on with the Epstein list, and why are they saying now they don't have it? And give me your take on that. What do you think about that?
Dude, at this point, there's just so much speculation. I can really only imagine like 2 or 3 things are going on, Shane. Either the list was destroyed or more people are on that list that shouldn't be on that list that we don't know about or don't want to be on there in possibly the current administration. Or I even saw another one today. Is it possible that Jeffrey Epstein is or was Mossad, and there is a bigger play here with Netanyahu coming to the White House tomorrow and everything else? And so Obviously, unless you're in the administration and they're in the DOJ and can take part in these decisions, you wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. But for what I did see, I saw everybody across the board. And I was even wondering about people like DC Drano today. What are you going to say, dude? You was up there holding up the binder and everything. And phase one, when I was in boot camp, we went through phase 1, 2, and 3, because when you have a phase 1, that means there's a phase 2. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Just like you would say for years, I heard you say, I never stopped thinking about, yeah. And so, where's phase 2 at? This is crazy to me, dude. This is totally crazy to me. And one thing that I understand is being gaslit. You and I are very, very good at seeing the gaslighting and the projecting. We dealt with that. Firsthand dealt with that in the DC jail, from the DC officers, from the judges, from the DOJ, from feds that were inside of there, informants. Like, we know about gaslighting and projecting, and I don't allow that to take me off of what I know to be truth. So when I'm on a scent, and right now they're trying to get you to look over here, we see the scent, we're on the scent, and we're not going to get off of it now.
Well, so and I've always been kind of I follow some of the QAnon stuff and all that, and I've always kind of been like, trust the plan. I do hope like the third option is the one, that there's a greater play here, that they're
right,
that they're gonna do something. But it is frustrating to me that they can come out. I haven't seen, I guess Kash Patel did a brief, or did a news conference or something to that effect, that there is no list, whatever. But I haven't seen that one, but I do know.
I mean, then why come out and tell us that everything's on the desk? Why would Pam Bondi come out and say there are hundreds of thousands of victims of this? We know that there were flight logs. We know people were going back and forth to that island. These leaks and things just didn't come out of nowhere. Like, this stuff was real just because it was a half a decade ago. And Shane, this is what I was going to get to next. And I'm going to start hammering this tomorrow. You know what they're going to say next, right? There is no 44,000 hours of footage. There never was.
Yeah.
You know how mad that's going to make you?
Yeah.
Because we fought for that in there. We went and put things like that on the record. We had teams inside of there that would look at this discovery and say, hey, there's 18,243 videos, but now there's 19,436. They just added 1,237 videos or something like that. Where did they come from? Everybody start searching. When we found this evidence, went and put it into court, and that is what started the truth coming out. Well, I mean, when you got the DOJ officials telling you, yeah, the files are on my desk, and then come out a couple months later, a month, 2 months later, and say, no, they don't exist. Well, soon, Shane, they're going to come out and they're going to tell us that there are no 44,000 hours, and people like you and I were crazy. We didn't really see what we saw.
Oh, don't tell me that. Like, you're making me feel like I need to go back to DC.
I mean, dude, this is why I say, like, I must run for Congress. It's not, I have no choice, because if anybody's going to change it, it's us. We have to. Nobody else is coming to save us.
No, for sure. And so we'll try to move on to another topic. I am so frustrated that.
Yes.
I just wish they would have not said anything and just like drug it out longer. Instead of coming out and saying,
it would have been better to not say anything. So look, I'll go back. I want to touch on what you just said. Somebody else a little while ago, and I'll be honest, like, I followed the Q stuff just like everybody did. Okay. Like, everybody followed it because it was everywhere online. And, but what I will say is, somebody sent me something today and they're like, remember, you just have to trust the process. And I'm like, brother, if somebody tells me to trust the process after I sat in prison for 4 years again, I am going to drop kick that door right there. It's like, dude, I've trusted the process for a long, long time.
Trust the plan, Ryan.
Yeah, trust the plan, trust the process. They told me that the military is in control. And look, I want to believe these things, but I also know it's been 6 months. And if you come out and start saying, well, there is no list, well, in 6 months or a year, let's just say that you want us to trust the plan, and you start making arrests, well, it's like, well, then you lied to us 6 months or a year ago. So either way, you're lying to us.
Let me know if you guys want to show that tweet from Ryan.
Yeah, the one you want to read off your tweet, the one you put up, Ryan. That was a good one.
I think he's going to show a video. Yeah, if you want to show the video, go ahead. Absolutely.
Okay.
Hold on.
Hey, what's going on, East Texas? Ryan Nichols here, your next congressman out of TX01. I've got to talk to you for a few minutes about something. I just got out of my doctor's office a few minutes ago in time to come out and see Caroline Leavitt, or as I'm going to now call her, Caroline Jean-Pierre, answer Peter Ducey's question about the Epstein files by not answering it and then deflecting onto just the craziest stuff ever. So Caroline Jean-Pierre is your new name. That was the worst answer I've ever seen from a White House press secretary, especially under the Trump administration. You should be ashamed of yourself. If you can't tell the truth, resign and go home. The second part about that is I'm not getting behind in lockstep with there's no Epstein files and he just killed himself. As somebody that was in the BOP, as somebody that knows what the SOP is for somebody that is suicidal or may be suicidal, I know that it didn't go down the way that they're saying that it went down. Folks, this is an issue. This is a problem. They're covering up crimes against children, and it's no wonder that this comes out the day before the day that Netanyahu decides that he's going to come in over to the United States. That's a problem. I'm not going to walk lockstep in with everybody. I'm not a yes man. I'm not your puppet that you can control over here. All right? I want what's best for East Texas and the United States. Whether it's down in South Texas and you're hurting children down there, or you're covering up Epstein's crimes against children up in Washington, D.C., I don't like it at all. I'm going to take a stand against it every single time, and I'm pissed off. So Caroline Jean-Pierre, you should be ashamed of yourself, and I'm not done with you yet.
That's good, dude. By the way, good job. I like all the clips you're releasing and all the content you're creating. You're doing a good job. I think you're going to be a good representative for East Texas when you win.
Thank you.
So, again, our hearts and prayers go out to all the people who lost children and loved ones in the hill country of Texas. That is such a horrible thing. I think about those. I read something, and I mentioned it. I don't know if I mentioned it, but it was about this dad who showed up for his 8 and 10-year-old daughter, and he just kept going to every bus that was unloading people, and his daughters never got off the bus, and it was just like this blank stare, and I just couldn't imagine. I even called you because you do search and rescue. You should do hurricane rescue and all that, tornado chasing and all that. Hello, everybody in the chat, and you told me what you said, man. I just couldn't do that, or I can't do that right now. It has been.
Yeah, I'd like to take a second to explain that, if you let me.
Yeah, for sure.
Because just like it makes you emotional, it makes me emotional as well. Like I've had to sit here by the lake in the camper over here, and I've really been struggling because I'm like, Ryan, get in the truck and go help. But at the same time, there's a big part of me. It's like, no. And it has nothing to do with the entrapment. Like, yeah, there was entrapment in my rescue organization. But right now, Shane, like, even especially after dealing with Bart 2 weeks ago, like it's been too much the last 4 years. Like I already did search and rescue years prior to January 6th. And that was a lot on me mentally. It was a lot on my family. It was a lot on my body and those people around me. But that was, 99 times out of 100, we were dealing with adults, not dealing with a lot of children. Some children, I dealt with a lot of children, but mainly adults. And I was never going for recovery. It was always rescue. Down there, that's recovery, And so when they called me and said, are you coming down? And I'm like, it's just children upon children missing and dead body. I can't do that right now. Mentally, I am not in a place after 4 years of being tortured by the United States government, after dealing with the last 6 months of getting out. Like I'm dealing with family issues, and well, as people can see, I'm separated from my family right now, just like other people. I'm going through a divorce, and I can't mentally go down there and pick up dead children right now. And so there will be a time for me to get back into rescues. I wanted bad to be down there, but I also realized that I've worked over 20 storms. I've rescued hundreds of people. It is time for other Texans and other people to pick up the baton and go work. I've done it for years, and it's time for somebody else to do it now. Somebody else help, because my fight is in Washington, D.C. now, and with the rhinos here in East Texas. Like, that's where I'm here to fight.
Well, yeah. And I will say, like, Dempsey was on the phone with me the other day. He called me, and he was upset. And he was like, man, Bart's dead now. And he's like, are we ever going to catch a fucking fucking break. You know what I mean? And I was like, God, I feel that. Now we got the Texas storms, and we got like just all this shit is going out. The Epstein thing today, and I'm just like, man, we need a break. And you are not the only one going through, like, you know, Peter Sager's gone through a divorce. There's a lot of people going through divorces, and it's just the government crushed and annihilated our people and our families, and it's a tragedy, and it's horseshit, and we need some accountability. Just like, you know, they didn't have a problem holding us accountable.
Didn't have a problem at all. I mean, Diddy's out. Diddy is out.
Yeah,
dude.
that is crazy too. And
so
go ahead.
Well, I say, like, you know, I see these things, and so when I see crimes against children, so Shane, I have reason to believe that what happened in South Texas was not accidental, and I have the proof of that. Marjorie Taylor Greene just didn't come out with that bill for no reason, making it a felony to cloud seed and weather manipulation. Wow. If you look at what's going on down there, Shane, we had a congressman from Georgia. His granddaughter was down there. We had Robert Hunt from the Kansas City Chiefs. His granddaughter was down there. We had another politician and people out of Houston. Their granddaughter or family was over there. We're finding out that these were some very important people down there in South Texas. Now, we also know that there was weather manipulation and cloud seeding going on just 36 hours prior to this. We also know, maybe a lot of people don't, I haven't talked about it a lot, but I'm going to very shortly, that Kerr County and Kerrville down there rejected lithium mining operations and lithium plants. Now, you know what's going on in Taiwan. I've been blowing the whistle up here in East Texas. They are about to start eminent domaining East Texans land, just like the same thing that Tucker Carlson's talking about with the Chinese stuff. They're doing it right here in East Texas. Well, that lithium shell goes all the way down towards Central Texas. All right. And the manufacturing plants and hubs would have been down there in Kerrville. And they said, no, they didn't want to do that. 26-foot wall of water in 45 minutes. We'll send a shockwave and affect your kids, and maybe you'll do what we say next time, or maybe it will be 40 foot of water.
Jesus, yeah, and that's kind of the same thing I think that happened in North Carolina. Was kind of in the same. Maybe it was the lithium stuff.
This is not normal, Shane. This is not normal. Look, this is coming from somebody that has worked dozens. So we're not talking about one or two here. Dozens of hurricane search and rescue operations. Dozens of hurricanes. I mean, we're talking about over 100 search and rescues in the water. Hundreds of people saved out of the water. I've done that. And I don't say that to brag. I say that because I can bring, I know this area, and I'm an expert in that field when it comes to search and rescue and water operations. What you're seeing is not normal. It is not normal to have these type of floods. Bro, they just had another wall of water yesterday down there. They had to evacuate the place again. The rescuers needed a rescue. And that's why another reason why I didn't go down there is because they still had storms going on, and the people that were down there doing rescues had to be rescued yesterday.
Jesus, yeah.
It's out of control.
We need you in Congress. We need a bunch. We need a lot of January 6th people to be running for office.
100%.
You know, there is a need, and that's why I almost, you know, and that's another kind of thing to talk about is, you know, I don't necessarily like Elon Musk talking about the new American Party or whatever it is,
right?
Because I feel like it's just going to split the Republican Party in half, and then we're not going to be able to beat any Democrats in any election. However, the Republicans we have, for 95% of them, are trash, and it's almost like it's almost time, like, just to throw all the politicians out, and then for real American people like you, like me, like Enrique, like whoever, that are willing to fight for what is morally right, and to not be good, and to be good stewards of the American people's money, like to do these things appropriately. You can't just have an open checkbook and just blow money and send all trillions of dollars everywhere. We got to take care of our homes, secure our borders, all that. And I believe the Trump administration is moving in the right direction, but you just can't go and engorge yourself on lobbyist money and on insider trading and all these things and expect to not be owned by those people that are giving you all that money, and you go up there and you're legislating against the American people, and it's horseshit. And I don't know how we get out of it. And it is, the more like I see it, is the more frustrating it is to watch this. We love you, Sherry. I think that's Sherry, Sapphire Patriot, but we love you too, Mama. So
yeah, and thank y'all for all the comments too. Make sure to load the comment section up. I want to see them, and I want to respond to them as well. If you got questions, make sure to ask your questions. I'll answer them. I'll take questions too.
Sure. How's
just butting in here for a second, Ryan? If you click on the top, I think on the right, you could see the comments live.
Okay. Oh, I didn't see that till now.
Yeah, there's a private chat and then there's a comment section.
All right, cool. I see. I was in the private chat. I didn't see anything coming through. There it is. What's up, Indy Clay?
There's
Lady
Jess.
Ann, Sapphire Patriot. What's up, Jess?
What's up, Jess?
All right, cool. I can see it now.
Yeah. So, what is so that's your. So it kind of, if you, I mean, I don't know if you want to get personal, but about your, what, because, and I've talked about this before, and I don't think Steger would have a problem with me saying it. He went through a divorce, and he said, and I may have said it on the show before, but he came home and it was like, they had buried him.
Yeah.
And got, they kind of buried him and kind of severed ties and moved on with their lives. Cause we've been gone like 4 years. And it was like his ghost came home, and like everybody's like, "What do we don't know what to say?" We've all kind of it maybe felt. I'm sure it was difficult, man. But people did have to move on, and they have to, Mama Bear at home taking care of the babies has to be both parents. That's difficult. And then you try to come home and establish yourself as a husband, as a father, as a dad, and it's like. It's the dynamics have changed, and whether it was your business or whether it was with your relationship or with your children or whatever it is, it's taxing, and it is frustrating to see how difficult it has been to adjust. Freedom is great, it's wonderful, it's beautiful, but it's like it costs a lot.
It did cost a lot, and I'm still I'm learning that now. Like, hey, yeah, you're in a great position to go be a great leader in the country, but it costs you your family. And so like there's days I wake up mad every morning still, just because like I don't like waking up alone, being in this camper, when I wake up in the morning, I feel like I'm in a prison cell again, because the walls are real close and everything. And I'm just like, dude, I did not get out of prison just for this. But I also realized too, I enjoy the process, and I love the refinement process. And that's what I'm going through again right now. Like, even on the outside, I've had to get out and cut away all the fat. Like, I'm really trimming the fat right now, and not of my, physical body, but like of my entire life being. And really back to the core of me and God and my parents, and just like figuring out who I am and what I want for the rest of life. And what I realize is I could go many different directions right now. And I see some J6ers that some are going good directions and some are not going good directions at all. And really, we're able to redefine and rebuild our entire life right now. And we can be anybody that we want to be. And so I'm like, well, who do I want to be?
Right.
The best version of myself that I can. Well, what's the best version of myself look like? A United States congressman, a couple of steps away from the presidency at some point, and then eventually running for Senate and VP or president. Maybe. I don't know what I want to do yet. Right now, I know I want to run for Congress. And I'm doing that because, one, I want to serve. I can't do hurricane search and rescue right now. I can't do, flood search and rescue. My serving is different now. I've got to do less stuff that involves trauma. And there's trauma in anything you do, but I can't go do that type of trauma right now. My service involves back to the community, back to TX01, back to the United States. Let's right some of these wrongs, and let's go fix these things. And just like you would say, and Cash Cash Kelly, the pen is mightier than the sword. And so let's go do something about it. So I know that I can either be the best version of myself and go be a congressman, or I could be the worst version of myself and start doing drugs and drinking every night and going to the club and just losing myself completely. And I choose not to do that. I choose to hold myself accountable.
So, and I've been dealing with this myself, like some emotional, mental trauma and stuff like that. And I talked to a pastor friend, and I probably talk about this on every freaking show I do, but so I was talking to this guy who he teaches pastors and other people how to do leadership, like, which is crazy. But he was like, Shane, your life, and I kept saying this to him, I don't feel normal anymore. And if I don't feel normal, I don't want to be here, right? And he's like, Shane, your life, first of all, you're January 6th, your life's never going to be normal again. And so I've kind of been processing that, like working through it with God. And it was like God brought the Jews out of Egypt, right? The Jewish people out of Egypt, and he made them wander around. They wandered around, I think, in the desert, right, for 40 years. And they were like, they were eating manna or whatever. And they were like, we want to go back and eat some steak and potatoes in Egypt. Like, we'll go back.
We want to go be slaves again. Take us back to Egypt.
But God has a new destination for us. The land of milk and honey is where we're going. And we trying to go back to our jail cell. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, you got to get out of that. And I've finally embraced the fact that this is the new normal. Like being on these podcasts, doing shows, like traveling around, doing all this, going to DC, going to, bury one of my brothers, do whatever it is.
That's your normal forever. That's never going to change.
And it is.
You're one of the few, the 1,600 that was pardoned by President Trump for January 6th. And look, even though I'm mad about what the FBI and DOJ are saying about Epstein files, I am still thankful that they found the evidence of the 2020 election and sent it to Congress because it vindicated us. We were right. Okay. Right. And when I say now, I tell people I should have went harder. Well, how do we know we should have went harder? You validated a stolen election.
Yeah. And they should have showed up with us too. Whoever else was like,
now if you would have known, you would have come. And that's what I hear everybody say around here. I should have been there with you. I should have been there with you. You should have. Okay. And next time you should. And people like you and I, we're not liars. When we see these things, we just see patterns ahead of people. Yeah. And we knew what we knew, and we knew it to be true.
It wasn't hard to see when you got more people voting than are registered to vote in the county, when you got them pulling boxes under the tables, covering the windows, kicking people out. Like, I ain't no rocket surgeon.
Yeah.
I tell you what.
I tell you what.
So that's are you doing, so you're still have your nonprofit, I'm assuming.
So actually my nonprofit went dormant while I was in. And I talked to my dad today, and he's going to be working on getting that back up and running, Rescue the Universe. So we are going to start doing that again. I just don't know what that looks like right now. Nice. But I do know that I wanted to get into anti-human trafficking. And I always said, if I got out of prison and my life went apart, that's what I was going to go back to doing. We were actually, me and Alex, my co-defendant, and we were doing anti-human trafficking before this, working with Operation Underground Railroad and some people out in Utah. Never got to fully do it, but the DOJ used all of that against me, and so this is how I knew that these people love to hurt children, is because I was trying to help rescue children, and they used every single bit of that against me. But I
got an in that field too, and they do sting operations. They go undercover. They use like a CERT team. They'll they'll set up these buys, and they'll send people like me. The lady was like, you'd be great undercover, like to go in to purchase people.
Right.
And then the CERT team would come along and bam, raid everybody. I'd get arrested with everybody, and then they would extract me later on.
Correct.
I can't imagine. Rob Morris and I talked about this, so I can't imagine something that would be more fulfilling and rewarding.
100%, because that's what Jan Sixers are looking for right now, is fulfillment, purpose in life. And so, dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, if for some reason, some crazy reason that I don't win this primary and get on the ballot, that's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going back to Operation Underground Railroad and going to go work with them, and I'm going to go do extractions.
Well, I know the lady who employs the guy that they made the movie about, The Sound of Freedom. What's his name?
Well, then I'm going to have to get with you about that. And because
she also owns her own island and has a retreat for veterans who are suicidal, and she helps repair that trauma, PTSD, and helps them find their purpose in life. And it's Christian related.
Okay.
Christian based. It's badass. So I'll give you the info. I don't want to put her name out.
Yeah, we'll get that offline.
But so and so what else do you have going on? I mean, why don't you give me a little bit of a backstory? If there's something else you want to talk about, like tell me how much time did you do, and like what was I know you were at Bloody Beaumont. Like what? And you told me some stuff that like kind of like it made me worry for you. You were like, man, I had to do these things, whatever. I shouldn't have, like so.
Yeah,
give a lowdown on prison and all that, and your story, kind of your backstory leading up to J6.
Yeah. So leading up to J6, I knew the election was stolen. You could see it; it was clear as day. And Donald Trump said, "Be there," and I said, "Yes, sir. Sir, I'll be there." And so showed up, and went down there. Saw women being brutally attacked by police, elderly people got involved. And because I wasn't going to stand there and watch that happen on my watch and have to go lay down with myself and think about that for the rest of my life. So got involved and, wound up getting an assault charge, the obstruction charge, going in through the window, getting on the bullhorn, saying the things that I said. And
what did you say?
Government boy, I said some, I'll let people go look at those things. I'm not going to repeat those here. Oh my God. Got me so excited. I spit on the screen. Yeah, not gonna say those things here. But yeah, man. Getting arrested, going into the DC jail. First of all, what a crazy experience of being shackled and put onto an airplane on Con Air with 300 other inmates, or 150 other inmates that are all shackled. With federal agents outside with guns all around the airport, like it's crazy. And and then for me and you to go there the other day and be like, what, isn't that the spot right there where and to see the same place, but as a free man,
Harrisburg,
in Harrisburg, where they would fly us in. I went to the airport, and there was the spot right there where they would drive everybody. And so it was very surreal to see that, man. Jail was one thing. I remember my dad telling me a couple of days ago. My dad's been helping me a lot here recently, and he helped my brother when my brother got out of prison.
Shout out to Dad, man.
Dad, thank you, Dad. And he watched my brother get out of prison and deal with the same things. And so a lot of the things that I'm dealing with right now, I watched my brother deal with getting out, and my dad has already been through it. So, but I remember him saying the other day, he's like, "You weren't like this when." He said, "If you weren't running for Congress, son, I'd be running right now." I said, "Well, why is that, Dad?" He said, "Because when you got out of the DC jail, solitary confinement was one thing, and that messed you up in a way. But he was like, whatever happened to you in prison, son, changed you." And I don't think that people really can understand the evil and violence inside of prison unless you've just been there. Like, watching a documentary is not going to do it for you. Hearing the stories is not going to do it for you. Being there and having to live it day in and day out. Folks, I had a knife put to my throat a couple times, like I had some bad things like happen inside of there. I had to do some bad things to survive. Like, that's prison. And it's terrible that it's that way, but it is that way. I had 4 attempts on my life inside of the BOP. One of the attempts, they put me inside the BOP, put me inside of the SHU with a known top member of the NF gang out of California. A known top member, a lieutenant or captain, very high ranking member of the NF. Not even the Norteños, not even the Northerners, the NF. And I didn't know anything about the BOP. It's like my second week in the BOP. I'm just getting shipped to my prison from the DC jail. And I spent 8 days in the SHU with this guy. And the SHU is solitary confinement. It's the hole. They were holding us back there in Oklahoma City because they had us labeled as a domestic terrorist for January 6th. And so as I'm in the SHU with this guy, he's a Mexican. And as you know, like usually it's whites with whites, Mexicans with Mexicans, blacks with blacks. Like they put everybody the same color together. And I know you know this. I say this for the audience that doesn't know. And so for me to be in there with another race is off. There's something wrong with that in general. Well, come to find out on day 6 and 7, we were talking and like we got to know each other. And he says, "Ryan, I got to tell you something." I said, "What is that?" I won't tell his name. I don't want to. I won't tell his name. But he says, "I think they put me in here to kill you, to see if I was actually going to go through with it." He said, But what they don't know is I love President Trump. I'm a MAGA man myself, and they just don't know that because I've never told anybody that. That saved my life in the shoe. This man was going to shank me and kill me right back there in the Oklahoma City shoe. And Shane, it was all over what I knew, because the day before I went to the Oklahoma City shoe, an article was put out in the Washington Post about me in the DC jail and, taking the video of those officers sleeping. And it went out there, and I found out that same morning, hey, pack up, you're getting on the plane, you're going to prison. And that's when I get over there to Oklahoma City. I'm thinking I'm going to the low over here at Seagoville. And they're like, no, you're going to Beaumont medium. I said, Beaumont medium? And they're like, yeah, Beaumont medium. I said, no, sir. I'm going to Seagoville low. He said, nope, it says right there, Beaumont medium. I said, oh my God. Because, you just heard all the stories about Bloody Beaumont. Yeah. And I remember being, going through Grady County with guys that had been to Beaumont that were, sure enough, like category 6 career criminal felons. That's what, then they're like, they're going to Beaumont medium. They're like, y'all will never see the medium at Beaumont. But they're like, look here, if you ever go down to Beaumont and you go to the medium, make sure you get you a knife as soon as you step on that yard. And I just remember hearing that forever. And so when they said Beaumont medium, I said, damn, I'm going to have to get me a knife as soon as I get there. I done heard these boys say it everywhere. And yeah, man, it was like that. You're showing up off the bus. First, them boys got off at the pin. And when they got off at the pin, where you could hear a pin drop on that bus, okay? Because them boys knew it, like, I'm getting off. Death awaits somebody on the other side of them walls right there as soon as you walk in.
Somebody's paperwork's messed up. Somebody's got a bad charge. Somebody told on their co-defendant. Somebody did something, and it's about to be.
Somebody's dying, and like you could feel death in the bus. Like you could feel the air. Like you could feel there's all different colors and all different gangs and people looking at each other like, okay, like we're talking with each other on the bus, but when I get off this bus, I might be having to put some work in on you. And so I'm just like, oh my God. And like, as somebody that's never been through it, like you're sitting there chained up, and I'm like, man, I've been watching all these movies, like, what's that movie where every movie where they go to prison and there's
American Me
every one of them, and they're like, there's the prison bus ride, you always see the prison bus ride. Well, that's a day I'll never forget. You get off that bus and you start chink, 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 walking across the yard to get into the front. And you go through the process, and then you go to your dorm, and you go to your pod, and you get assigned. And bro, going there, I'm thinking I'm not gonna have to do much time. When I got in there, my case manager, this is what I think really, really helped me there. I had a case manager. Her name was Miss Provost. Miss Provost, I get off the bus, and she makes sure to do me in the middle, almost last, as one of her people. And she brings me in, and she's shutting the door for everybody as they come in. And then I go through, and she shuts the door, and she turns around, and she says, okay, I'm so glad I got you back here. And I'm like, look at her, because I'm still, shackled up and everything. And she was like, look, you don't know me, but I know you. I've been waiting for you to get off the bus here. You did rescues here in 2019 with my husband, and with the hurricane down here in Beaumont.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm going to get you out of here. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, thank you, Lord. And I'm like, are you serious? And she's like, yeah, aren't you Ryan Nichols? You did rescues down here? I was like, yes, ma'am, that's me. And she was like, yeah, you did rescues with my husband. And so she took care of me. She was like, I'm going to get you out of here. You'll be gone in 2 weeks. I said, 2 weeks? That's not possible. She's like, I'll get you out of here in 2 weeks. And so she started my paperwork immediately. And I'm thinking, like, I'm about to go home. And that, it probably would have, it might have saved the marriage. It might not have. I'm not sure. But I know, like, 2 weeks later, when I was supposed to be going home, the BOP saw that I was going home that quickly, and they put a cank on everything. All of a sudden, my release date changes and goes back a year. And so instead of July of 2025, it changed to July of 2026. And so they took away like 12 months for like being home on home incarceration. And dude, I'm distraught. I was distraught. And I remember after
you weren't planning on going home, then she's like, "I'm going to get you out." Then they're like,
yeah.
then they get away from you.
Excuse me,
Right.
guys.
I'm already not planning on going home. Me and my wife have a plan, and we're like,
right.
hey, I've got.
What's up, Enrique?
Can you guys look into this pen right here for 1 second?
Say that again. Okay.
The obscene list never existed.
Never existed.
Is that Pam Bondi?
I was gonna.
That's freaking funny.
Carry on.
Sorry.
Never seen nothing.
It wasn't on my desk. Forget that.
Dude, that's crazy. That's so crazy. I just start thinking about that again. Like, it makes me mad all over again. It was on my desk. It's on my desk reviewing everything. Yeah. So, yeah, they take away 12 months, and that's within like 2 months of me being in the or 2 weeks of me being at the BOP, 2 to 3 weeks, and I'm on this high. You know, everybody thinks I'm going home. I think I'm going home, and then all of a sudden I'm not going home, and I'm there to stay, and I realize, oh my God, you know, because I've been kind of skirting the environment, and they're like, hey, we're not even going to involve you in anything. If you're going to be here for only 2 weeks, 4 weeks, even 6 weeks, we're not involving you in anything. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, yeah, your paperwork checked right now. Like, hopefully you already sent it off 2 weeks ago. Like, everything changed then, you know, now that I'm going to be there. It's like paperwork here, this here, that here. I don't mind getting my paperwork. It was the stress involved with the paperwork check and the presses that go on you, and you know, them wanting to make sure, you know, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. Hey, you're going to put in some work over here. This has to get done. This has to get done. And you're just like, dude, I didn't sign up for this. Like, I don't want to be here.
I'm not a gang member.
I'm not a gang member, but dude, what I found out was everybody's a gang member. You ain't got a choice. Everybody's a gang member, or we're just going to stab you and kill you.
Yeah.
And so, or you can go to the shoe, but there's no room in the shoe. So if you went to check into the shoe, they would just get your stupid ass back to the pod, you know, go crush somebody or get crushed off the yard. But if you crush somebody, like if you went and stabbed somebody or beat them up, you didn't even get put in the shoe. You got a 200 series shot and sent right back to the dorm.
Yeah.
You know, and so
there's no deterrence. So like,
there's no deterrence, dude. Did I not tell
y'all that it is?
You told, so dude, I'm sitting in there and I'm like, so this is why I came to tell you firsthand too. Like, and I told you, if nobody came to tell you, Shane, I'll be the first one to tell you, you were right. You were right about everything when it came to prison. You did us correctly. You sat us in them rooms and you said, if you want to know about prison, I'll tell you about prison, but you're going to have to listen up. And if dudes didn't want to listen to you, you would handle that. And if you did want to listen to you, you would handle us as well and help us out. And so I'm glad that I listened to you, because I remember my brother being in prison. And I said, like, Shane, I know, because my brother was in, so I'm going to listen to you and do what you tell me to do. And you're like, well, mind your business. Don't join a gang. Do this, do that. And so like I started like having to rack my brain, like, okay, what did Shane tell me? Okay, mind my business. Well, mind my business doesn't just mean mind my business. It means just look like down sometimes and mind your business. You know, there might be a stabbing happening right there. I'm not looking at that stabbing. Mind your business. You know, like it
what are you
really,
looking at? Oh, you're next.
You're next, because you want to look over here, dude. I'm telling you, like when I start telling these stories, like I told my dad, he's like looking at me, and I turned. I was like, "What?" He was like, "Son, that's not normal. What happened to you?" And we think it's normal because we live that. And I start telling my dad like these very detailed stories, because I can't tell them to nobody else except for people like you. I'm not going to tell them on this podcast, you know, but I start telling some very detailed stories to Dad when I got to get it off my chest. And he just, son, that's not normal. That should have never happened to anybody.
I did not want to be right, dude. I didn't want, you know, it is traumatic, especially, and, you know, I've been before. But it's traumatic for a civilian. You know what I mean? You've been in the Marine Corps and been, you know, do all that. Like,
I've been in the Marines, but I ain't never dealt with nothing like that, Shane. Yeah. Nothing like that's all. So that when they say the prison is run by the prisoners, that's true. And in this case, it wasn't even run by American citizens. It was, and hopefully they deporting a lot of them now, but it was run by cartel members, illegals.
Yeah.
You know, that drones are coming in, dropping just
phones, drugs,
and phones and meth and fentanyl onto the yard. Like, it was bad. You know, dudes overdosing and dying, dudes stabbing each other and killing each other. Like, yeah, Bloody Beaumont was exactly that down there. And
running up dead and getting stabbed off the yard.
Dude, and oh my gosh. And just what I had to realize and what I had to get taught inside of there, thankfully I had, I say a decent cellie. He was a terrible person, but in my situation, he helped me out a lot. And he was like, Ryan, you need to remember, everybody in here is a bad person. You're the only good person here. Everybody's bad. You really are the only good person here. And I don't say that in like any type of bragging way. I just know that you can tell, like, Shane, like, we were different. And you said that so many times. You're like, dude, I'm blessed and honored to be in jail with you type of people, because I've been in prison with some bad people and I'm in jail with you. I didn't know what that meant until I got in prison. I'm like, these are all bad people in here. You know, some really bad people. Not everybody, and I don't mean to say it like that, but you know what I mean. Like, when you get in the prison mode and you know you ain't going home for 10 or 15 or 20 years or ever, you have to turn into somebody that you don't like a lot of times.
Well, it's they were you, and it's going to be them every time. That's the
every
problem.
Time.
I'm going to have to do bad things that are going to, and that's what I struggle with. But it's like, it is difficult, and I'm sorry that good men had to go through that, dude. It breaks my heart, and I am on, and I feel like God hand selected me for this mission. You know what I mean? So I could go be with y'all in DC and have the conversations that we have.
Man, I remember you saying, I don't care if they give me 20 years. I don't care if they give me life. I'm going to stand on these things right here. And you did, you know, and I remember hearing that. And I'm like, dude, they say 10 years. I remember telling you, Shane, I can't handle 10 years, you know, and you're like, yes, you can. Yes, you can, Ryan. And I'm like, in my mind at that time, I was like, no, I cannot. And
you heard it here first. And what else did I say? I said, we're getting
pardoned. And that's what you said the entire time. You said, Ryan, we're getting pardoned. We're going home. We're not doing all this time. And I said, Shane, you're lying because I'm in jail right now. And you said, dude, just wait. And you were right. You know, that's why if any other Jan Sixers are watching this, that you did time with Shane and you haven't called him and said, hey, dude, you were right. You owe it to him. You owe it to him.
I love you, bro. Thanks for putting the truth out there. And
yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm here for, is the truth, bro.
And you know, the hard part too is I know where my hope is, right? My hope is in Jesus Christ, right? But I also have faith in President Trump. I don't have the faith that I have in Christ and President Trump, because he is a fallen man just like all the rest of us. But Jesus has never let me down, dude. He's always, ever since I became a believer, dude, I've been in some bad situations and God has pulled me through it, man. And I don't know how the hell he does it. Before I knew Jesus, he was pulling me out of the fire, you know what I mean? And it's like, there is something to be said for Jesus Christ, man. He
knew he was going to need you up on them Capitol steps one day to save America.
That's right. And he needs you in Congress so you can save your district, and so we can fight back against these scumbag rhinos. That's what pisses. I don't mind so much the Democrats, because you know what they're going to do. Like, they're the known enemy. The problem I have is the enemies in our camp that are sitting 100%. By the fire, breaking bread with us, and they're stabbing us right in the back every single day up there.
I want to say this as well. Like, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she got on Trump a couple of weeks ago about going to war with Iran. She said, we don't want to go to war. Okay. And I remember a bunch of people throwing a fit, you know, like Cat Turd throwing a fit, blocking me online because I wanted to say something about him. And I'm just like, look, we were allowed to have our opinions and not be yes men and be in lockstep with somebody. Like, I'm a veteran. I saw too many of my friends go to war and die. We just got out of 25 years worth of war, but that doesn't mean that I disagree with everything about what Trump's saying. So today I made a statement about President Trump, and I said, hey, I'm pretty disappointed in this whole putting the FBI files out there, or not putting the Epstein files out and then saying something like what he said about the FBI. I would have expected him to just get out there and say something, but that doesn't mean, and I want to make that clear with everybody, that doesn't mean that I don't support him. That doesn't mean that I don't trust him. I might be upset with him, but Shane, how many times have me and you been upset with each other and fought it out? But I still love you. Okay, you still love me. We still trust each other. Okay, that is what makes a good team. Not just, I'm not going to say yes to you blindly. You're not going to say yes to me blindly. We might even duke it out, but at the end of the day, we're going to come to the best decision of what's best for you, I, and everybody else.
That's right. That's right. And that in leadership, and I trust President Trump. I do. I trust him. I don't always agree with everything he says, everything he does, and I think that's what freedom of speech is about. That's what. That's how I may be thinking one thing about something and you challenge me on it. And I'm like, you know what? I never thought about it from that angle.
I mean, President Trump did it 2 weeks ago. I think that's why everybody's doing it today. He did that 2 weeks ago about the farmers and the illegals that were working at the farms. At first, he said, hey, we're not going to take you away. Everybody threw a fit. And then within 24 hours, he was like, hey, the people have spoken. Illegals, y'all got to go.
Well, and that's why I think it's important for us to be posting about this Epstein crap, because it's important.
Extremely important.
People, if you're not posting about Epstein, make a post and say, we want the truth. We don't, no more bullshit, no more cover-ups.
Yes.
Give us the information. We the people put y'all in there to do it. We demand it. We expect it. And anything else is unacceptable.
Completely unacceptable.
And we want to arrest.
And that doesn't mean just because you go out there and say, hey, President Trump, I don't like that you did this. No, that makes you a better American, and that makes you just more credible and trustworthy, because people realize, hey, he's thinking for himself or herself.
God gave you a voice. Use it, man.
Yes, 100%. So Jess says, I was in prison with Ghislaine Maxwell. She lived 3 bunks down from me. That's crazy. So
what's she in prison for?
What was she in prison for, Jess? For trafficking children?
Oh, that's
underage
weird.
Girls?
There was nobody.
Who did they do that to? I guess there's no list. They just did it to a ghost. I guess she's just in jail for no reason.
They just
exactly
in her share of them. Yeah. That's
Look, do you think if there was no client lists in Epstein?
What list?
So I'm gonna pull this thing out here in a minute. Hold on. I do it too late every time. But if there was no list, don't you think that if there was truly no list and Epstein was completely innocent, don't you think that he's like, hey, I'm going to get out of this. I'm going to beat this, and then I'm going to go back to my billionaire lifestyle. There's no list.
I'm a little conspiracy-ish. So I think he was extracted and put into like witness protection. And I think that's what I believe. I don't know.
Well, I do know that the cell that they showed today is not the same cell that he was in.
If he was on suicide watch, right? He was, right? He wouldn't have clothes. He wouldn't have blankets. He would have, we know what the BOP gives. They give.
It would have been a straight cell with maybe a bed, maybe a concrete bed. That's it.
Yeah.
He'd be under 24-hour observation.
Yeah, if you're on suicide watch, you don't even get real clothes. You get it's like paper.
Paper clothes. There's no hooks in the room.
Yeah, there's none of that. Yeah, no, that ladder wouldn't be in there.
Absolutely not. There'd been nothing where you can cut out a knife.
I may be wrong. He might have been taken off suicide watch and then put in that cell. I may be wrong about that, but I know he was on suicide watch because he had mentioned that he was. I forget what it is, but he had. And somebody said, "Was that you that said it?" Somebody was like, "He's got way too much clothes."
Yeah, look at all them clothes that was in his cell. Like, did you see how many clothes in there? There was probably 20 or 40 pairs of clothes in there.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. It doesn't happen. Okay.
So how can people support? I guess there's a website on the bottom, Ryan Nichols for Congress, and they could definitely share your content, subscribe to it.
Absolutely. Share, subscribe, comment. I love every comment. I get lots of hate on there. So if you want to get on there and hate. If you want to get on there and say something positive, say something positive. I will like and respond to anything. And so that's one of the big things that I'm about is I'm transparent. I will talk to you. I will answer questions. And that's what I want to do. I want to make
a few bucks, send him a $5, a 10, 20, $50 something. If you got big money.
And that's what I just made a video about and put out today is my dad spent a lot of money and so did I testing the waters. But now we're done testing the waters, and according to the FEC, everything has to go through it. I got to start funding it through the campaign. It's got to be all official through the website. So RyanNicholsForCongress.com is the only place that we're taking donations, and now it's got to not be just me that funds the campaign. I do need help. So look, if you've got $5 minimum is what is taken on the website. You can go to RyanNicholsForCongress.com. It takes 30 seconds. $5, 10, 20, 50, 100. Leave a comment if you want the comment shared, and I will share it with everybody on X and Facebook. And I appreciate all your support. It means the world to me.
I will send you some money tonight. Hey, Enrique, can you pull up? Do you have the Sugar Creek Goods commercial? Is that accessible on there? Or, and if it is, will you play it? I have a sponsor for this. It's not.
No, hold on.
Okay, I do have a sponsor for the show.
Uploaded.
SugarCreekGoods.com promo code. They do have
go right now to SugarCreekGoods.com promo code Shane. If you want some of the best tasting products ever in your life that you've ever had.
It's soap, shampoo. Yeah, don't eat it. Don't eat it. They've got some good.
No, don't listen to me.
We need soap on a rope for the J6 edition. You know what I mean? So if you go to prison, if you get caught insurrecting, you're gonna need to use. That's what Jeff McKellop did a commercial. He was like, "When I insurrect, I want to smell my best, so I use Sugar Creek Goods."
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna make a commercial for them then.
Yeah, they're good. They're good people. You get a 15% discount if you use promo code Shane. And they also sponsor the show, so they're helping us offset some costs and stuff that we're doing. So
that's great.
Good people. Look at that, Enrique Tario in the studio in the building.
Oh shit, my bad.
You're good, man.
Yeah, you're great staying here.
Yeah. What do you think? Give us your take on some of this stuff we've been talking about.
To be honest, I haven't been listening.
Oh wow.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I need that t-shirt too, by the way. I told Barry I want one, that Capitol Raiders t-shirt with the QAnon shaman on there.
Yeah, so
got it. Yeah. Oh, I like that. Oh my god, I thought that was a Raiders
yeah. Where do you get that at? Are you selling them or what?
Actually you could get it at fatenzo.com. Bobby Pickles, one of the hosts, actually prints these out. I will be stealing his design soon, so I will sell his shirt, but for now you can only get it at fatenzo.com.
All right.
For the most part, I agree with you guys. One of the toughest jobs in the world today was from Caroline Leavitt at the White House. I mean, I didn't want to be her. She should. I agree with Ryan. She should have said the truth, but obviously her shtick is to protect the president, the administration. So she probably, my take is a little bit different than Ryan's. She was probably told to say that. She probably doesn't feel like she should have said it, but she was told to say it. Again, there's a little cowardice there in that effect. But I think it all falls down on one person and one person only, and I think it falls down on Pam Bondi. She's the head of the Department of Justice. She put out this memo. And I think at the end, and the reason why that meme is so funny is because just a couple months ago, she said that it was on her desk.
Right.
And it's not.
And if it wasn't on your desk, don't ever say that, because we would never held you to the standard.
Mm-hmm. I think if like in the beginning, like you could be, let's just play this out in real format. Let's say we were the conspiracy theorist and Epstein did not have a client list, and Epstein did kill himself, right?
Yeah. So
you could be of the mind that you come into the administration and you think you could fix everything, and then you see, oh wait, Epstein did kill himself, right? Well, you shouldn't have said that he didn't kill himself while you were part of this administration, right? You should have come out and been like, hey, I'm going to investigate, and then said it. Then there'd be some play. Nobody would believe you, because obviously Epstein did kill himself, didn't kill himself. And obviously there is a fucking client list. And again, that's why Mrs. Maxwell is in prison right now, because there is a client list. It's not that we're advocating for her release. It's that there's a fucking list.
Yeah,
that's correct.
So in that case, and also Ryan, as somebody who's ran for Congress before, I'm rooting for you. You. You're up against Goliath, but we know in the story of Goliath, David was victorious. And I think with enough help and support from our viewers, from 711 viewers plus the viewers that are going to watch this later, we could get this done, because you'd be a dream in Congress.
Thank you. Thank you. And I appreciate y'all's support. I appreciate you having me on tonight. Shane, I know that you've been asking me to come on here for a couple of weeks now, but I think really tonight was the best, perfect time to come on and do this, because today I was fired up and I wanted to talk about these issues. And Enrique, I agree with you. I would not have wanted to have the White House press secretary's job today. I would not want to have that any day, but especially not today. You know, I know she's going in there knowing that question's coming. I have to answer it that way. And that's the only way that she gets to answer it that day and keep her job. But any way that she answers it, people are going to rip her a new one. And so, like, yeah, she had a terrible job to have to do today.
I don't want to be that person.
Yeah, I can't do it. I'm not really a BSer. I'm kind of just shoot it straight and
right.
I'll be like, man, I can't go. I'm not going to go. And she knew it was going to blow up. Well, I think this is what we should start doing, is advocating for Ghislaine Maxwell to get a pardon, since there was no client list. And clearly she wasn't trafficking people because there was nobody to traffic them to. So I think we should start pushing for a presidential pardon from Donald Trump for Ghislaine Maxwell, since there was no client list.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
and you want to fix the FBI? Hire Biggs and Enrique. And we will have the gallows built on the National Mall.
I like that.
I'm just kidding. They'll probably use that in the next sedition trial when they
it's like clip. There it is. Like, golly.
Yeah, they just clip.
I want that meme again, so nobody heard.
Doug Brasher's going crazy right now.
Ham, can you come in here with the clutch?
There you go. Yeah. Nobody heard that. It's all good. Yeah, and I am frustrated. You know, I like Cash Patel, man. But damn it, he's like, we're going to turn the Hoover Building into a museum day one. We're going to fire all these prosecutors. We're going to do this. We're going to investigate J6. Where is all that? What in
the museum hasn't happened. And obviously, like, Trump supporters aren't stupid. We know what that means. It doesn't mean that he's physically going to make it a fucking museum, although that would be nice. We know what that means. I'm going to dismantle the system. I'm going to take the power out of Washington, right? And we haven't seen it. And I'm a patient person. But look, here's a perfect example. So we haven't seen any arrests. We've seen some dudes that keyed Teslas arrested. Great job. We've seen sex traffickers go to prison, which is what the DOJ does. You know, you're not supposed to clap. You're not supposed to clap on shit that they're supposed to do. Like
that they're supposed to do their job on, right?
That's their job, right?
You're doing your job.
But by this point, there had in the Merrick Garland tenure, there was 450 of us that were arrested, right? And 450, there was a big amount of those that were able to push their trials past January 20th of 2025. You know, through sticking and moving, stuff like that. You know, Jake was one.
Yeah.
Jake was able to push it all the way through. So if we don't start seeing arrests soon, like what they're going to do is delay tactics for the next administration. If they steal the election, they'll have a favorable DOJ and those charges will be dropped. So these arrests should have happened already.
Yeah.
When they just haven't come in.
When we got midterms, like going to start the clock is ticking, bro. I hear it loud and clear.
Yeah.
The clock is ticking. And I'm like, what do we, I don't know everything that was in the big, beautiful bill, but I do like the tax breaks and all that kind of stuff. That's good. I do kind of agree with Elon. They're spending way more money than they should be. They should have trimmed the fat on that boy, but again, we're going to spend America into oblivion, and we're going to go over that precipice, and it's going to be too hard to come back from it. And I just worry that, like you say, they are going to run the clock. I think like our own people are going to, like, the clock's ticking. Nobody called timeout, and the game's going to be over, and there's going to be no opportunity to score.
And why would they do that, Shane?
Because somebody is compromised.
Because they're compromised too.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like, look, I'm not doing this congressional run just because I want to be a congressman. Dude, I must do this.
Yeah.
You know, like, I got to go to Washington and I've got to peel the veil back and expose all their dirty secrets. I don't care if they kill me in the process.
Well, that oath you took, foreign and domestic. And these are domestic problems that we got.
And as a United States Marine Corps veteran, I swore that oath, you know, and that doesn't end when I get out. And
That's
so,
right.
yeah, like, I have a problem with what's going on and I have to do something.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. Well, man, I think we're good, dude. It's been an honor to have you on, man. You know, Ryan,
Yeah,
I always,
me
please call me anytime, dude. You know, I'm your brother. Sure. We're in Texas. We need to be spending more time together. You know, I got an extra bedroom. Come down to Houston. Enrique, you're welcome to come down too. We usually don't have, we don't have any black friends because we're white supremacists.
Oh, you need to have me as a friend so you get the fucking. Let me stay PC in here. Sorry, I have to police myself, but we are on X.
And at some point, Enrique, I gotta get with you again. I know last week was a hectic week, and I was supposed to call you, but I really do want to talk to you, and without putting too much out there, some help in East Texas.
Amen.
Oh yeah.
Give me a call. I'm pretty open tomorrow. So just give me a call. I won't be doing the morning show for the rest of the week. So during that time, you can call me anywhere between 11 all the way up until late night.
For sure.
Well, again, America, thank you for tuning in. For everybody that watched, 7:45 is not too bad. We love you, Jess. Can't wait to see you out here. And just remember, America, we're playing chess, not checkers.
That's right.
Was that my cue to hit the outro?
Yeah, whenever you're ready.
Okay.
You're good, bro.
Okay.
Thanks for producing for us tonight.
That wasn't a smooth. Yeah. So wait, before we sign off, it's you always got to call the minorities to produce your show.
Oh, that's right.
And the reason why I'm producing the show is because I actually used, and this is a shameless plug, I actually used the Ice Raid app to deport your previous producer.
Oh, that's why he wasn't answering his phone. He's in my truck, damn it.
Not in your truck. He's in Mexico.
Yeah, he's on
they still got internet there, so he could produce from Mexico.
He's a Puerto Rican Alaskan.